Ok ragazzi, grande Nick Johnson, welcome to Nick Johnson.
Wow, this is really nice. That's a great guitar.
It's your guitar.
That's a custom shop, right?
Yes, it's a custom shop,
Whoa,
yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Hey, before we start going
Just a moment, because I switch on. Okay, now try to speak.
Hey everybody. Okay,
Perfect.
I'm gonna just shoot some videos saying hi to everybody.
Absolutely.
Hey everybody, it's good to be doing a
just
live stream with Marco.
Yes.
We got the full setup here. There's me on the screen being a total idiot as usual.
Adjust the focus just a moment. Yes.
Okay,
now it's music.
So it's nice to be here, by the way.
Ciao,
Thanks
Nick.
for inviting me. I'm in your your guitar bunker. When the world ends, this is where I want to spend my time. So, and here's all you wonderful people saying hello. Thanks. It's great to be in Italy again. And I'm going to turn this off, and I'll hand it over to you.
So thank you so much, Nick. It is, I don't know if I'm still in a dream or I am in the reality.
Or a nightmare. I don't know.
No, nightmare, no. Absolutely. So I have a lot of friends, 128 guys.
Oh, hey everybody.
Ciao ragazzi, ciao a tutti. Come vedete, per me è un sogno avere qui uno dei miei chitarristi preferiti del momento, perché I have spent some time with Nick during the lunch.
Oh yes, we were very lucky. We got to go to a restaurant that was closed today, and Marco kindly had it so they opened for us. It was wonderful.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
So, thank you so much. Ragazzi, spero che si senta bene, ok? Credo di sì, se no datemi un po' di informazioni, vi vedo in chat. I spent some Italian words with my friends, ok?
Yes.
Cioè, come vedete, vabbè, io non sto nella pelle perché ho un ospite che adoro, cioè, averlo poi nello studio, perché voi sapete bene che il sorriso di Marco non ha prezzo. Luigi, hai detto bene, effettivamente. Guardate che regolo un po' la camera, scusate che sono un po', ecco qua, la mettiamo, ecco, così siamo un po' più centrati, scusate un attimo che abbiamo fatto tutto di fretta. Eccolo qua, eccoci qua.
Still getting the focus down?
Il focus is ok, dovrebbe essere a posto. Vediamo un attimo. Ok, now you are at focus. Ok. Quindi ragazzi, camera sfocata. No, adesso dovrebbe essere a posto. E niente ragazzi, che dire, ho il piacere di avere uno dei miei chitarristi preferiti, Nick Johnston, from Canada.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, a long way from home. We've been, we, as in me and the gentleman from Schecter, Ryan, who you met as well. We've been traveling across Europe, and I've been away from home for a couple weeks, and one more week, and it's a nice treat always to get to come back to Italy. I think it's my 15th time or something, but it's one of those places in the world where it has a very specific magic that I don't think is anywhere else. There's something in the water here, or something in the food, I don't know, but it's the best. It's just the best.
Ok, translation in Italian.
Oh, yes.
Ok,
yes.
so, quindi Nick non è la prima volta che viene in Italia, questa è la 15ª volta più o meno, quindi è già stato ospite da noi recentemente, e questa sera tra l'altro avremo il piacere di fare una clinica assieme da Piazzo, quindi abbiamo colto l'occasione. Dovevamo fare un'intervista qualche tempo fa che per motivi vari non è andata a buon fine, ma insomma, direi che abbiamo recuperato con grandi interessi. Quindi per Nick è sempre un piacere venire in Italia, perché chiaramente la nostra ospitalità, la nostra cucina è sempre al top, e quindi ecco, lui si tratterà qui e farà un tour in tutta Europa, e quindi ecco, sono abbastanza emozionato. I'm really it's a really big emotion to have you here, because this is my my kingdom, let's say.
Yes, you rule over this kingdom.
You are here. It's really amazing, and also you're so kind to make a jam with me. It's great.
Of course.
So, what can I say, Nick? Some questions, very free. We can open it.
Let's do it.
Se avete anche domande voi, tranquillamente. the typical question is, how did you start to play guitar? What is your inspiration?
Yeah.
What is your spark that...
Well, most people, they're inspired by, let's say, Eddie Van Halen or Angus Young. But for me, it was my neighbor.
Mm.
I had a I was about 13 years old, and
that's the moment that I have to because my follower is really okay. Now it should be better.
They're all about the camera. Eh?
Yeah.
No, I had a neighbor that moved in, and he was a year older than me, and when you're 13 years old, and then there's somebody who's 14 years old, that's big difference. Different school, Anyway. I heard him playing guitar in his basement, and one day I walked over and I knocked on the door like you used to do when you were kids, and I asked, "Can I come and watch you play guitar?" And I watched him play guitar, and I was obsessed. And then I begged my parents, "Can I please have a guitar, please?" And eventually they gave in, and pretty much right after that, I was about 14, I became obsessed, 6, 7, 8 hours every day. And it was just something that helped me kind of find an identity. I was a very insecure young man, and very just didn't know who I was and no confidence, and guitar sort of gave me identity, and it gave me purpose, I suppose. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. Guitar players a lot of times we're introverted. We want to be alone. Leave me alone. Get out of here. And it gave me that, and it let me be okay to be alone, and it gave me something back, and I still am very grateful, and I give everything to it because of that. Still,
Okay.
And then just from there, I just kept meeting more musicians, and it just steamrolled. So that was it. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. And what is your favorite guitar player? What is your inspirations?
Well, I don't typically, it's funny, I don't listen to a ton of guitar players anymore. I just, I'm around it all day. I talk about guitar. I play guitar. I tour. I write. So I typically need a break sometimes from the listening side of things. But, my favorite players were the same back then as they are now. Jeff Beck.
Jeff Beck, yes.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eddie Van Halen. I like the early Yngwie records a lot. The first few Yngwie records, I thought his playing was, still is kind of better than everybody. And then just, anybody I've played with. I think what's really amazing is when you can play with people or meet people that have developed their own voice on the instrument. And it has nothing to do with technique sometimes. It's just when you hear that person play, it's them. That, to me, is the most inspiring thing. I had a chance a couple weeks ago to do a guitar camp in Nashville with some really great players, and it was like myself and Tosin Abasi, Brent Mason, who was fantastic, Tom Quayle, Andy Wood, who else was there?
Andy, amazing.
Greg Koch.
Yeah.
Anyway, all these guys, and what was so cool was listening to everybody play the same instrument, but you could hear everybody's voice, and it was just like it was so powerful. So that to me is so inspiring to the point where you just want to go home and practice. Oh, Mark Lettieri was there too. He's amazing. So that's the most inspiring thing now.
Okay, thank you so much. And Nick Johnson, to me, is one of my actual and modern guitar hero.
Oh,
I already told you during the lunch.
Yeah, you said some really nice stuff.
Yeah,
you said some really nice stuff. Thank you very much.
And the guitar hero is not so common in this moment, I think. Because I'm a guy from the 80s. Okay,
yeah.
There was Joe Satriani, Steve A, Inge Malmsteen, and so on and so on and so on. Now the scenario is a bit different, but for me, you are a part of this scenario, and you are the real modern guitar hero. What do you think about this? And is there some room? This is
so many things to look at. Sorry, right there.
Is there already? There is still some room for the guitar player to become a guitar hero, or something's changing?
Is there room to be a guitar hero? I think we spend a lot of time, maybe guitar players, overthinking a lot of stuff and worrying about, am I good enough? Am I doing enough? And is this evolving? And is my playing evolving? I think, for me to have gotten to where I am now, a lot of it has had to do with just focusing on making music. I'm very grateful that people think I'm a good guitar player. I'm very, very kind, but for me, it's just about music, and ultimately, if that translates some point into somebody thinking, oh, Guitar Hero, or you do, then that's great. But I think the interesting thing is when you're really not thinking about that. Yeah. You're just sort of so involved in being creative and playing with people and trying to develop your own language. Just something kind of happens, something at some point, it just translates, and all of a sudden you have your own voice. I grew up without the internet. I was one of the last generations to have no internet until I was probably at 16 or 17. I didn't have a phone until I was in my mid-20s. A cell phone, sorry. I didn't have all this input, constant input from other sources. So I was very much what I kind of thought I was in a vacuum a little bit. I was alone in my room, and I didn't have sort of a method of how to learn or too much exposure to video, and I didn't have any money, so I didn't have any pedals and stuff. I just played for the sheer enjoyment of the sound of the instrument, and that to me is, I look back on that very fondly, because now it's hard to unplug sometimes. It's hard to shut that out.
Let's say you are not a social guitar player. Let's say.
I just.
And this is a really important messages, because sometimes. Ok, io spero che capiate, e se non capite, diciamo, scrivete pure, ma credo che si capisca abbastanza bene. Cioè, lui è cresciuto molto distante da quello che è i social, dall'influenza dei social e quanto da internet, e questo è abbastanza importante, e ha pensato più che altro a creare della musica. This is really, really, really important, that and I can feel, as I told you before, I can feel in your music. There is let's say, like you sing with your guitar. You don't want to demonstrate. Okay, you are amazing guitar player, of course, but
Thank you.
Your songs are like a song from the voice. You can play the melody with the voice, with the saxophone, with the piano, with every kind of instrument. So your composition is, let's say, comes from the heart. Let's say.
Wow.
Okay, this is
Thank you.
This is really important, because sometimes, internet or the social networks shows many guitar players that use tons of notes. Amazing and extreme guitar technique, but at the end, the people want to listen the melody. Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, there are a lot of people that want to hear extremely great technical guitar playing, and at one point I was the same way. I was quite a bit younger. I'm 35 now. Mm-hmm. And at a time that really kind of scratched that itch, because I was young and I wanted to see the limits pushed, Mm-hmm. Wait till you do that.
My wife said that I have to zoom in. Okay, so
this is FantHome. Hello. I think younger musicians or somebody who's sort of interested in seeing what you can do from a technical standpoint. For example, making a meal with a million spices and dishes, and it's wow, it's so. But sometimes you get to a point where you just want something powerful said with very little. And I'm kind of at that phase right now where speed and technique is very, very fun, but when I'm at home playing, it's typically me just at a piano. And I always like to write without the guitar. It just kind of gives me a different perspective. And at least right now, I'm like I said, I'm 35. I maybe in 10 years, 20 years, I don't know what I'll be doing. But at this current state, for whatever reason, just pure blinding technique, it's just not it's not enough for me. I was very lucky early in my career. I put a couple records out where I had at the time he was quite possibly, maybe still is, the best electric guitar player in the world, Guthrie Govan. Played on a couple different songs of mine, and it's like I heard him do stuff that nobody, he's that level. So it's like, okay, cool, that's the pinnacle. Now let's make as much music as we can. And again, don't take any of this too seriously, because tomorrow I might change my mind. Tomorrow might be a different discussion. But I think at the end of the day, it's just what do I like working on? And for me, it's sitting at home with either a cup of coffee or just something, and I just work on melodies, and I just try to expand my ear as much as possible, because I have the technique. I've developed the technique 20 years ago. I was a teenager. I could do all that stuff, and that's fine. Now it's just that journey for that sort of, unlocking my ears as much as I can. And just trying to tell a story and try to say less with more, which is sometimes very difficult. And it's sometimes way more relaxing and comfortable to play more, because sometimes silence is scary, and bent notes with nothing between them is scary, and turning gain down is scary. But these are all things these are all things I think are valuable to kind of incorporate into maybe playing fast and playing loud. Sometimes it's cool to shut up and just to play simple stuff. But I don't know if there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's whatever makes you happy, because you're the one who has to live with yourself. So if you like to sit down and play fast and shoot videos and all that stuff, that's great. But I think my sort of calling as a guitar player is to just try and write the melodies I'm trying to hear. And I love big dramatic harmony. I love big tension and chord changes and big interval leaps. And a lot of times, if you have these big, rich chord changes, the more you play over it, the more it takes away from, you know what I mean? Sometimes you have these simple little two-note melodies with a chord change. Just, whoa. So anyway, I'm rambling, but that's my thoughts on it.
Fantastic, amazing, amazing player. And what important is the piano, because you play piano, and especially your last album, the piano is it's big important. It's a big part. I like the guitar, and it is amazing. I love it.
Thank you. I started playing very unofficially. I kind of joke that I play piano like my dad uses an iPhone, where his glasses. So I'm not really great or anything, but I can do enough to where I know all my theory and I can see everything.
You play enough to make the compositions.
I play enough to kind of get the point across. Yeah, exactly.
But you play more than this.
And I think at some point I've made 7 instrumental records now. I have one coming out next year. It's just you want to see. It's kind of like, I guess I can relate it to another Canadian artist. I can relate it to Geddy Lee a little bit in that Geddy Lee had this search for writing on keyboards.
Per chi non lo conoscesse, Geddy Lee è il bassista di Rush, quindi
not that I'm Geddy Lee, but he obviously played bass, and his composition started to get more and more elaborate because he started bringing in keyboards, because he just wasn't getting what he wanted out of the bass. Not that I'm not getting what I want out of the guitar, but I'm aware that there's something I'm searching for, and I haven't quite found it yet. And I know it's not just electric guitar, distortion, bend. There's something else, and I'm looking for it. And I'm kind of like, everything you hear me release, I'm just like a little closer. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm just like, I think let's try this, this direction. So that's the beauty. It's that kind of search for everything, and it's that patience. And when I was about 20 or so, I made this record. It never came out or anything, but I made this record, and I showed it to an older friend of mine. He's 45 at the time, and I used to play with him. And I remember giving it to him, and he said to me, he took me aside, and he's like, "This is cool, but I want to warn you. You're on a path of being either a really technical guitar player, which is cool, or you can also maybe think." Maybe you can go in a different route, and maybe find a middle ground. And he gave me a task, and he said, "I want you to go home tonight, and I want you to write a song, an instrumental song, from scratch with no solo.
No solo, yeah.
And it changed my life.
Yes,
it completely changed my life because all of a sudden anything I would kind of fall back removed. All my weapons were gone.
And this is the reason. This is the reason that I told you before that I can listen to your album from the beginning to the end without stop. Because typically the actual record sometimes I start the second song, third song, it's enough. Your album start and you drive me like in a picture. So you can pause the background. The first level, the second level, so the main level. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think it's just I'm a very, I don't know about you guys. I don't know, maybe you can chime in and discuss yourself, but I'm a very sensitive. I'm very sensitive. I am. And my wife can attest to this. I was on the phone last night with her. I was late. I was like, I was crying. I'm very sensitive. So I like drama in the chords. I like ballads. I like arrangements that kind of leave you wanting, like, where is this going? Why didn't that resolve? And I like almost holding your resolution hostage a little bit. I'm not going to give you that resolution. Maybe in the next song I'll give it to you. But I'm not quite there yet. But I'm working on it. I think it's all about just trying to be honest and kind of tell the truth, so to speak. And it's good to look inward sometimes as opposed to out. So you can tell I'm Canadian. Out. Yeah.
Canadian is a really great country for the artists because
we're stuck inside half the year.
Yes, I know. Gino Vanelli for the first, Bryan Adams, Rush,
Ian Thornley, great player. Yeah, Devin Townsend, all these great guys. So many great guys. Yeah,
it's a really amazing country.
Aaron
I have to visit Canada. Next time I will interview.
Yeah, you got to come to Canada. So that's kind of my thoughts just on I suppose just the whole thing. Unfortunately I don't pay attention too much to what's really happening with the modern scene. There's some great, one of my favorite modern guitar players, he's a good friend of mine, his name is Mark Lettieri, plays in Snarky Puppy, he's got his own solo records, he's fantastic.
Maybe Mark will be here.
Oh, yes, maybe.
Because Mark is
baritone.
Baritone guitar.
Yeah. Mark's awesome. And we actually, at that camp I was telling you about, we jammed on a Steely Dan song. We kind of soloed back and forth. It was really, really fun. But it's just sometimes, good to take a break from maybe all the input and just sort of kind of sit with yourself and turn the phone off and just. As soon as you start kind of
turn the phone off, well,
as soon as you do, because it's scary, because we don't know about silence. Nobody knows about silence anymore. When the phone's gone, you have to sit and kind of exist with yourself and be like, oh man, and then you have to listen, and then you have to kind of just see where it takes you. Anyway, I don't want to preach too much, but that's what I like to do.
It's really nice messages, absolutely. And what did you understand? Something's changed in your
Fan Johnston.
Fan Johnston.
That's good.
My friends are amazing.
They're funny.
What did you understand that something changed in your music life?
Yeah, it's changed a lot, I suppose. I mean, for me, the biggest thing, I guess, was just developing confidence to play in front of people, play with people. Like I said, I was very, very introverted. Mm-hmm. To the point where when I was practicing a lot as a kid, I didn't even want my parents to hear it. I didn't want anybody to hear it. Turn the volume down. I go in a guitar store. I start getting scared. I start shaking a little bit. Too nervous. And then I started writing more. And then eventually I had the opportunity to start playing with band and stuff. And just slowly getting a little bit more into the habit of, I went up and I played and I made a mistake, but I didn't die. So it's okay. And then
great. This is a great
message. It is. It's okay.
You didn't die.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think fear is a great motivator.
It's really, really important.
But ultimately, what kind of made me, I suppose, feel a little bit better was just the feeling you get when you're in a room with people and you're all playing and you're all playing together and it sounds good. And you kind of all look at each other and you're laughing and you're like, oh yeah. And the drummer plays something out of nowhere and you double it. That energy is impossible to recreate. And when you start feeling that, you go, wow, maybe we could show people this, and maybe I can write more of this. And it just happened. But it was very innocent. It just started as me alone in my room, afraid of the world, and then just feeling like I think I have something to say. And I was never in a rush to put records out. I was never in a rush to put videos out. I never wanted to go viral. I don't want any of that. I want to slowly keep moving forward with my playing and my ear. I don't care about overnight success. I don't care about success. I really don't. I just care about making the best possible music I can. And sometimes I miss. Sometimes I come up very short, and some people hate what I do, but that's okay. That's okay. Yes, it's totally fine, because it's not going to stop me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But all of that, those realizations change because you just start realizing it's just music. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be educational, and it's supposed to be something we can all, he can do that, and he can do that. I can learn from this, and you can learn from me, and that was a big revelation, because it was always about, got to be the most technical, got to be the blah, blah, blah. Where did that get me? It just got me afraid to play in front of people. When I was about 21, I got asked to join this group where it was, kind of older guys, much older, and I remember going into a blues jam, and they were playing, this kind of part, and I started playing really technical over it, and the band stopped. No, none of that. No more. I was like... So immediately it was just like I didn't know what to do. So I had to just kind of be like, all right, well, now it's about shedding technique I'm not using anymore, or is this even practical?
Yeah.
Because we all learn licks, a certain tempo, a certain key. All of a sudden we're in a different key at a different tempo. You're like, fuck, what do I do? So all of that, those are big revelations for me. And then probably the final revelation, the biggest one, was when I started to really do a lot of guitar clinics. To go up on stage in front of a room full of people, hundreds of people sometimes, where, first of all, English isn't their primary language. Some people drove a long way, or they expect you to be a certain way because of how you are on the internet, and you have to entertain a room full of people, and you have to live up to that, and just getting more comfortable, just improvising and playing. And we're going to play a show together later. Yeah. It's just that energy of just go up and have fun. It was big revelation. It became fun again, not serious and almost like a prison. It became fun, Sorry. Rambling.
It's a pleasure to listen to you because your experience is really amazing, and you're sensitive.
Yeah, and I think the thing that is really, really important is not to talk about the record you're going to make. It's just to make the record. Mm-hmm. I'm going to make a record. I'm going to do an EP. Just do it. Just do it and learn from it and do it again and do it again and do it again until you feel like you've got something to say.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, so why you are here? Because we have a common story, let's say.
Oh,
because
yeah.
You are a very big experience. You start with a brand that I love, that is Schecter.
Yes. How long have you been playing Schecter?
I started to play Schecter 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I know Schecter
forever, yeah.
Because one of my first vinyls was Toto 4. And Steve Lukather uses a red Schecter, totally red. Also, the fretboard was red.
I didn't know that.
I was amazed about that guitar. So because David
What
Schecter,
was it? Was it like a custom shop, or what was it?
Yes, absolutely custom shop. It is a Strato model, totally red with the pickguard is a metal pickguard in is not gold but similar. But I will show you.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have the album upstairs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I remember, man.
Wow.
And I started to play Schecter, and let's say in Italy, I can say that I'm the father of the Route 66 model. I have the honor to launch and to announce the
Papa 66. I love it. I love it.
Road 66, but you are the father of Nick Jones' signature, and it is because
I hope so.
No, yes, I'm saying.
Anyway, so.
Okay. How did start the collaboration with Schecter? Tell us some story of this.
Absolutely. Well, I grew up playing guitars from another company, which everyone knows Fender, of course.
Yeah.
I was playing Fender guitars. It's just because that's what I thought the guitar was. The first guitar I got was a Squier Bullet.
Yeah.
In 2000, 2001, something like that. And then I kept saving up. I bought a Mexican Stratocaster. So it was a ice blue metallic. I remember the color. Yeah. And then I saved up, and I bought a custom shop. It took me many years to save up for it, but I got one. And then I played that for a long time, for probably, 6 or 7 years. 6 years. Mm. And then at some point, another Schecter artist at the time, who's no longer playing Schecter guitars, but he asked, who are you working with? And I was like, nobody. I wasn't working with anybody. And he got in touch with Schecter on my behalf, and I got in touch with one of the guys at the company, and I said, I would love to try your instrument. And they said, we'd love to send you one. And I said, well, I don't know much about your company other than you are a metal company. Mm-hmm. Omen, Hellraiser, Damien, et cetera, et cetera. Papa Roach.
Yes, also
all that
stuff. The perception.
The perception.
Which
was the same
metal
in
guitar.
Same in Canada, as I'm sure it is here too. Yeah. Anyway, so I said I would love to play it, but I would need something to try that's like just as quality and more Strat style as the one I'm playing now. So they sent me one, but I didn't play it. I left it in the case, in the corner of the room. I was afraid of it because I'm like, there's just no way this is going to be as good as my custom shop. There's no way. Anyway, they finally emailed me back and said either you try it or send it back. So I'm like, okay, try it. And I picked it up and I played 2 or 3 things. It was the best guitar I'd ever played. And I'd played, all the other usual suspects, Suhr, Tom Anderson, etc. This was an incredibly, once you play one, it changes everything. But anyway, so I played that, and then at the time I had put out a record. It just come out. It was called Atomic Mind. So this was back in 2014. And right at this time, my career was like, my career's maybe right here, but it was like way down here. Still not very big. But anyway, right here. And Schecter at the time was interested in rebooting their custom shop. They wanted to kind of redo what they used to do in the 70s, Sunset Custom and all that stuff. So they said, and Ryan actually, he said, why don't we do this together? We'll reboot the custom shop, more or less, and we'll use you as the poster boy, so to speak. And the first thing we did was we went to China to do a tour. And I'm from Canada, and it's a country of extreme weathers, right? We get very, very, very cold weather and very humid weather. And that's bad for guitar necks. Yeah. Necks get all wonky till they look like a roller coaster. But nothing weird happened to the neck on this guitar. I was like, that's pretty cool. This guitar is very stable. And then we went to China, Taiwan, a bunch of places. It was very humid, almost tropical. And the neck didn't move. Didn't break a string. I was like, holy shit. Anyway, I got home, and we talked, and they said, we would like to do the first ever custom shop signature model with you. Yeah. Would you want to try that? And of course I was like,
well,
yeah. So they had me kind of go into the custom shop, and I just they just said, what do you want? And I found in the custom shop, I found a neck, just this beautiful, just this like looked like dark chocolate neck with these cool brass inlays. And I was a big fan at the time of a video game called The Witcher 3. And Geralt, the main character, I used the, this is really nerdy, I apologize to everybody, but it was part of the Griffin School, and it had this kind of like gold, brass, and green thing, and I liked that color scheme, and I wanted to do that. So I made I didn't make it, but I found an old body, because at the time we took the neck, like imagine we had this neck. Yeah. This dark neck, and we grabbed every color. We went like, okay, how does that look? It looks okay. What about blue? How does blue look? And then eventually, I found in the shop, in a box, a dusty box from the 90s, there was an old body. Yeah. It was a green body, and we put it up against the neck, and everybody in the room went like this. Holy shit!
The famous atomic green.
Exactly, and that became the first model. But because that was a very bold guitar with a dark neck, very expensive Wenge. The first one I did was essentially the silver one, which is kind of a recreation of the guitar I was already playing. And then that's how it started. It was very much a trust thing. They trusted me to do the best I could, and I kind of trusted them to work together as a team, and that's a very, very unusual bond in the music industry. This I have to tell you guys, this never happens. There's most brands, you're just sort of another promoter for them. This doesn't happen. There's very, very rarely do you reach a mutual partnership. I've never experienced it before, and I probably never will again, because just the way things lined up and the timing and at the time everybody was playing a John Petrucci signature model. Everybody. You look at it's like holy crap, but I was playing a Strat with 3 single coils, so it was different and unique at the time. Yeah. It's not so unique anymore, but at the time it was. And then I put out another record called Remarkably Human, and I used the green guitar for that, and it just started to kind of steamroll. And we did more touring, and then, here we are now.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy, and it's their best-selling. My guitar is their best-selling model. It's crazy.
Absolutely. In Italy too is one of the best, and also the success of the Route 66 was amazed. Is really, really impressive. Never happened before that such models as so big success, and there are a lot of friends here that are really happy with this model because it can.
Yeah, it's a great guitar.
It's a great guitar. It can fulfill every kind of genre, and there is a mix of the modern and traditional together.
Yes. That was the whole point with even my playing style. It was very I like bluesy guitar playing, but I also like tension, and I'm left-handed, so a lot of legato and some arpeggios and chromatics. It's kind of like those old techniques with sort of a new twist on it, which is 100% the ethic behind the actual guitar. Old meets new, and then I switched over. I wanted to try something with the humbucker, so now I have the option to do both, and the PT option to do that, and it's just this really beautiful sort of snowball that just keeps getting a little bit bigger, and when you try one, it's sort of eye-opening. You go like, oh my God, you can get this level of quality for a very, very reasonable price. Very reasonable price,
absolutely. And
the colors are cool too. Colors are cool.
And also, you mentioned before that you start to rise down the gain.
Yes.
Of your sound. So your sound is really, I can say, is readable. Okay, because you can hear any single note.
Oh, I know, it's scary.
Any notes has his own dynamics. So I think it's really important this guitar is amazing because it's not high gain output. Okay, is a mid gain, let's say.
Yeah.
So the interactions with any kind of amp or digital model is incredible because you can get a clean sound or a high gain sound with the same set.
Yes.
Because it's so dynamic that.
And especially I don't know if people decide to kind of maybe play similar to me in that the volume knob becomes almost another channel.
Yeah.
These guitars are so responsive when you roll the volume knob. It's not a drop off the cliff.
Yeah.
It's a very kind of even sort of EQ curve on that. In fact, when we play tonight, I'll be doing a lot of on my music. There's a lot of volume knob stuff, and it just sort of shows why the pickups sound that way, or why my music sounds that way. Because these are always these dynamic things, for better or worse. Sometimes it's really scary because you can fuck up really easily, but for better or worse, it's all part of that guitar and that sort of vintage meets modern. Yeah.
Great. So. We have an appointment next hour. We have a clinic.
We do.
Yes. So I'm really honored to be with you. Also to have you here. The future project.
Yes. Okay. So let's see here. what's today, the 7th? 6th. In 10 days, on the 16th, I'm releasing a song with my wife. We have a band called Osmanthus, which is the name of Osmanthus is a flower. My wife lived in Japan. She's mixed Japanese. She lived in Japan for a little bit, and it's an Osmanthus. You can look it up. It's a very beautiful flower, and it has this incredible scent. And she found a lot of them in Kyoto on her walk to school. That she would always see these flowers. And we're releasing the first song on the 16th. She sings. I play guitar and keyboards. And then I have a record coming out with another band called Archival, which I sing on and play guitar. That's in November. And then I'm recording my next record in December, which will be out in the new year. So keeping very busy. And then I have 2 more tours this year, or 1 more tour this year. But yeah, as always, you can find just Instagram or whatever social media you use. I'll be on there. And I just, I'm just very, very lucky and very happy to be in a position now where my entire life will be forever dedicated to making music. My wife and I, we've just, we're not going to have kids and everything. We can't, but it's always going to be about art and trying to just, pull as much of that out of us as possible. And I love every second of it. I still wake up 5 o'clock in the morning every day to work on music. So that's it, that's it.
You're lucky.
Very lucky.
You're lucky, and you deserve to be lucky. This. Absolutely.
And thank you to everyone's so nice. It was so
130 and more.
You guys incredible.
It is now it is job time, and so there is no big audience, but
that's okay.
For sure the people will look at this. Also because I make a surprise because I didn't disclose that the interview with you, but some of my followers will enjoy this interview later on. So thank you very much, Nick, for all of my friend. Ragazzi, vi aspetto chi può venire a vedere la clinic da Piazzo. Domani è da i-Music Store e poi da Merula. Quindi ci sarà, tra l'altro domani ci sarà un meet and greet da Res Rubini, sempre a Bologna, e poi da i-Music Store e quindi da Merula. Very nice.
Very nice. I can't wait. I
am still in a dream. Okay, maybe I will.
Wake up.
Ok, thank you so much.
Thank you so
much.
Thank you guys very much.
Ci vediamo ragazzi, grazie di essere stati presenti. Ci vediamo, mettete un like come sempre. Ciao.